ضمير, or this is called pronouns or ضمائر. Okay, something that is used, just like in English we have he, she, it, they, them, these kind of things. So in Arabic we use the same thing. We have pronouns, ضمير being one pronoun and ضمائر being plural. So what is a pronoun? It's a word that is used in place of a noun, okay, to substitute a noun. Huwa, which is he, means he. This is used to replace a masculine noun. Okay, huwa is used for masculine nouns or a person or a place, a thing, whatever object. Huwa is used for that. Linking verbs is, am, are. So if we go back to the previous examples or the ones here, it looks like it's kind of, I think in the books it's clear, right? Okay. Yeah, it's kind of messed up here, but in the books it's clear. So if you look at your books, it says huwa rajulun, he is a man. Okay? If you break it down word by word, you have huwa, which means he, and rajulun means a man. So there's something missing there. What's missing? Is, right? Is missing. That's called a linking word. Okay? Links the words together. And this linking word is actually, it does not exist in Arabic. There's no specific word for is or are. Okay, and what happens is basically it's just known to be there. It's just something that's it's invisible, but it's always there. It's understood to be there. It's inferred to be there. So we have the examples here. Huwa rajulun, huwa kitabun. Okay, it is a book. Okay, huwa amrun, it is a command. Again, like this.
We are learning nouns. Ism.
Yes.
Amr is it Amr is a ism or a hukm, fair?
Amr, actually, you have action verbs. Okay, so they're called verb nouns or masadr. And so Amr is a masdar. And this means basically the idea of the command. It's like the idea of the command, not the command, or the command itself, the object, or I don't know how you say object, but you could say the command itself. The actual doing of the command, that's a verb, will be a fa'il, like you said, but the command itself, I gave him a command, for example. In English, we'll say I gave him a command. I ordered him to do this and that. So that command is like an idea or something, that you can understand like that. So Amr, it's a masdar, but it's a verb. It's a noun. A verb noun is actually called. A masdar is a verb noun, so it's an object. So here we have these examples, and also you see kitab. Kitab is not in English. Kitab does not have a gender, right? Gender is used, for example, in humans or animals and these kind of things. In objects, they don't have gender in English. But here in Arabic, it is used as huwa. Huwa is used to replace, huwa kitabun. It is a book, okay, and it's used that because huwa is replacing kitab, or it's pointing towards something. It's referring to something. So huwa kitabun, and huwa is translated as it. So when it comes to something that's an object or something that's not, usually in English doesn't have a gender, then it's just translated as it. And in the feminine word, it would be hiya, which is also translated as it. Okay, again. Another type of noun, another type of ism is the adjective. Okay, and this has two words. In the Arabic books, when you start to read Arabic grammar and these kind of books, they have two types of words which are used for this: not and sifa. Okay, not and not. Also, we know it's a word commonly used. We do not in the masjid. We do it at an event, to start an event or something like that. Not a Rasul or whatever. Not actually means to describe something. Okay, so to describe something. So you have, for example, a nasheed. A nasheed is something that's general. Basically, it could be like Islamic nasheed, which are like praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or of maybe about just like Junaid Jamshed, just like he does different anasheed. Mashallah, excellent voice. So he does different anasheed and stuff. Then you have naat. Naat is actually something that describes the Prophet ﷺ. So usually that is more describing something. So naat is used for that. So naat and sifa. Sifa is also which is from wasafa yasifu sifatan. Wasafa yasifu, which means to describe something. Okay, you describe something, so that's sifa. And something that you describe, so not itself is the description. The thing that is described is going to be man'ud. And the other word is mawsuf. And here in this course, we're going to be using sifa and mawsuf. I just wanted to tell you not and man'ud, because if you read that in one of the books, you will understand, you can recognize it, inshallah, you won't be confused. In Arabic, the sifa comes after the mawsuf. Okay, it comes after the mawsuf. In English, can someone give me an example? One of the sisters, please give me an example of a descriptor and something that is described in English, like any sentence. Sorry? A red car? Is that what you said? Jazakallah. Okay, she said red car. Okay, so red car, which one is the sifa? Red. Okay, this the description. And what is the mawsuf? What is being described? The car. Okay. So what's coming first is the sifa and then the mawsuf. In Arabic, it's twisted. It's flipped. Okay, so it comes the other way. In Arabic, the sifa comes after the mawsuf. So whatever you're describing comes first, and then the word right after that is the sifa or the na'at, which is describing that. Okay, and it must agree with the mawsuf in 4 things. And these 4 things here, we have adad, which is adad means number. Okay, so if you have, for example, if you're describing one car, we said, like the sister said, red car. Okay, she didn't say red car, she said red car, one car. So in English, there's no red or reds. You know, we don't do that when we change it. But in Arabic, there is. When you say one car, then that sifa, the red, it has to be multiple. Okay, if cars are multiple, plural, the sifa, the explanation or the description has to also be plural. So adad meaning in the number. Okay, I hope that's clear. Okay. Number 2 is i'rab. In declension, we're going to talk about that inshallah next couple lessons, which means the state, the hal or the hala of the word itself. Does it have 2 fathas? Does it have fatha? Does it have 2 kasras or kasra? Does it have 2 dhammas or 1 dhamma? And that dhamma is pesh, and fatha is a zabar, and kasra is a zir. Okay, for you guys to understand that. Okay, so you have i'rab. So whatever the mawsuf has, the sifa has to have the same thing. It has to say have end in the similar fashion, in a similar way. And that's what grammar is actually more on the endings of words. We have sarf and nahu. These are the 2 basic sciences of Arabic, or not, the 2 main, you could say, basic sciences of Arabic, sarf and nahu. Nahu is grammar, and you can translate sarf as what is it, syntology, I think they call it, or something like that.
Morphology.
I forgot the word. Sorry?
Morphology.
Morphology, jazakallah. Yeah, jazakallah. Morphology, okay? So you have sarf, which is morphology, how the word was made, how it came to be, how it was made, and how to change it around to give different meanings. And then you have nahu, which is the grammar aspect, and this is more to do with the endings of words, okay? So we have i'rab. Then we have jins. Jins is the gender, okay? So you have, in English again, we have red car. A car does not have a gender in English, but in Arabic we have, anybody know how to say it? Sayyara? Ha. Sorry? Sayyaratun. And how will we use sifa?
Ahmad.
Ahmar, good, close.
Ahmad.
No, sorry, not Ahmadun.
No.
Hamra. Jazakallah khair. Okay? Jazakallah khair. So you have Sayyaratun, very good, mashallah, Jazakallah khair for the effort. Sayyaratun, Ahmad, he was close. So, but Sayyaratun, and like the sister said, Hamra. Okay? Sayyaratun, Hamra, a red car. So here we see that they're copying each other, or they're similar in 4 things. You have sayyara, which is a feminine, it's in the jins, it's feminine. Hamra is in the feminine word. So you have ahmar in the alwan, in the the loan, the words. They have for the male words you have ala al-wazn af'al, and then you have for the feminine words the wazn of fa'la. Okay, so we have ahmar, humar. Humar is red, redness, and you have ahmar is the masculine, feminine is hamra. Okay, you have aswad, for example, which is black, and then you have the feminine, which means sauda. Okay, so these are the different types of the thing. You have asfar, for example, and you have safra, which is yellow, and so on and so forth. So here we have adad, i'rab, jins. The fourth thing that they have to be equal in, and they have to copy each other and match in, is ta'rif. And ta'rif is basically indefiniteness. The meaning is either it's going to be, both have to be indefinite, or both have to be definite. So four of these things, if they're there, and you see that these four things are matching this way, two words together, linked together, they're right next to each other, you'll recognize right away that this is mawsoof and sifa. These are matching, and this is describing this word. This is one of the ways of doing that. In the Quran, there's many examples of this, and this is how, when you see the two words, and when you start to get these, you see these signs. You see the adad is one. You see the i'rab is one. It's ending in a similar fashion. Jins is one. It's the same gender. And the ta'rif, it's definite or indefinite. You know that this is a murakkab tawsifi, which we'll talk about later. Murakkab tawsifi means the sifa mawsoof relationship. One example here, the first example from the Quran that we'll go over. Here we have A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bal huwa Qur'anun Majid. Okay, Bal huwa Qur'anun Majid. Rather, it is Qur'anun Majid. It is a magnificent Qur'an. And Qur'an itself, we go over the words actually. Bal means rather, okay, rather. And huwa, which means he. We talked about it. And what kind of word is huwa? Can someone tell me what type of the nouns that we learned today? Is it?
It's a pronoun.
Good pronoun, which is called what in Arabic? Good dhamir, okay? Dhamir, which is pronoun. So we have bal huwa Qur'anun. Qur'anun is from qara'a, yaqra'u qira'atan, which means to read, okay? To read something. And Qur'an, the word comes from something, alif noon is za'idatan, and this makes it in mubalagha, meaning that something that's read often, something that's read or it's supposed to be read often. You're supposed to read it over and over again and dive deeper and deeper into the meanings of this Qur'an. So, bal huwa Qur'anun Majid. Rather, it is a magnificent Qur'an. It is something that is very, from majd, which means majda yamjudu, majdan, which means to be magnificent, to be glorious. So rather it is glorious, it is a magnificent, glorious Qur'an. So here we have the murakkab tawsifi, the sifa mawsoof is contained here in this example, in this ayah. Can someone tell me where it is? From the sister's side, if you can tell me where is the, point out the mawsoof. Barakallahu. Good. Okay, so you have the Quran, and what is the sifa? Majid. Okay, Majid. And you see again that these, the mawsoof is coming first, the thing that you're describing, which is the Quran. And then we have Majid is the sifa, it's describing that Quran. And let's do a test. Let's do the litmus test. Let's see if this thing qualifies as a murakkab tawsif. Is it really mawsoof and sifa or not? Ta'rif, indefiniteness. Are these two the same? Ta'rif, which is definite or indefinite. What was the sign? I gave you one of the signs of knowing if a noun is definite or indefinite. The tanween at the end, barakallahu feek. Okay, the tanween at the end. Okay, the double dhamma, you could say the noon sound. The tanween, majidun, okay, or Qur'anun. Okay, that tanween at the end, that tells you that this is indefinite. So as regards to ta'rif, this is indefinite. So Qur'an is the indefinite. It has the tanween at the end. Majid, its sifa also has majid. So the first thing, check mark, it's same in ta'rif. Jins, in gender. Now Qur'anun, I know we didn't go over the different attributes of the sign, the alamat of the ta'lid, but yeah, we didn't go over that yet. But Qur'an is a masculine word, okay? And Majid also is also a masculine word. One of the ways you could see is ta marbuta. Most likely a word that is feminine, it will have a ta marbuta at the end. That's one of the ways to know that it's a feminine word. But here there's no feminine. So in jins, they're the same. Okay, so check mark that, two things. I'rab. I'rab, if you guys remember, we talked about that. That's the word, something to do with the endings. Okay, the ending of the word is the i'rab. Okay, the nahu aspect. Okay, so i'rab, Quran, it has two dhamma. Good. It has tanween, but it has two dhamma. I think I heard someone say that. Okay, so dhamma has two dhamma. Okay, dhammatain you could say. And actually that is really me. You know, when I was in school, my name is Mateen. I think I don't know if I said my name in the beginning. Waseem Peracha. Okay, so I'm actually I was born and raised here in Dearborn, and I was born in Dearborn, raised in Brownstown, and Muslim moved in Khattab. I think we moved there when I was like 4 years old, and I grew up there all my life. But anyways, so my name is Mateen, and one thing happened is we had one of the teachers, and she's here in Michigan still. She used to say when she was teaching us, and she was one of the Arabs, and I don't know, I started thinking she's doing it on purpose. She didn't like me too much because I was really active back then. I'm not going to go into details. I was really active back then. I go into the office a lot. And she was the assistant principal, and she also used to teach us Arabic. So when she would teach us, I remember this stuck in my head. I keep on saying, why is she saying it like that? Instead of saying dhammatain, which means two dhammas, she would say dammateen. And I keep on, I'm like, I don't know, she's out to get me or something, I don't know what's going on. And she, anyway, so dammatain, it has two dhammas at the end, okay, that's the i'rab. And majid, which is a sifa, it also has two dhammas. And if someone says dhammateen over here, then I'm going to give you, okay? Okay, so we have ta'rif, jins, i'rab. The fourth thing was adad. Okay, so Quran is one Quran. It's talking about one Quran, okay? Majid also is singular. Okay, and we're going to go a little bit into that, inshallah. I think it's the fourth or fifth lesson about number. Adad, it's going to go into how to recognize something that's plural, or if it's tathniya, if it's dual, or if it's singular. We'll go into that, inshallah. If it's mufrad, we'll go into that, inshallah. Okay, so next page. Here, what I did was, we have, this is, inshallah, we'll go over as much as we can during the class, and we'll go over these examples, inshallah ta'ala. And what I did with my students is I would pick out the ayat of the Quran, which have examples of what we just learned. And what we do is we'll go over that, we'll try to pick out, and we'll learn the individual meanings of this. And also another thing I'd like to do is, if I can get the email address, I think brothers have the email address. What I'm going to do is, from each lesson, we have a list of vocab of words that inshallah I will try to, I know it's hard, it's every day we're going to have a class, but my students will have a week to do it, but we have a list of vocab words we'll memorize every week, and there's about 2,000 individual words in the Quran. So inshallah ta'ala, we're going to be going over a lot of them, inshallah ta'ala. I don't know, I can't really say how much number there is, but it'll be a significant amount, inshallah ta'ala, we'll go over. Another thing is that the ayat himself, in the 40 lessons, the whole course, I have about 500 ayat of the Quran that we go over. And we go over the tafsir, and we go over the word-by-word meaning of that. And the whole Quran, anybody know how many ayat there are in the Quran? 6,000. About 6,600. Yeah, about that. So you have about that many ayat in the Quran, and we go over, you could say, what 9%? About 9% of the whole Quran during the whole course. So inshallah we'll be going over this. So here we'll go over the first ayah. I'd like one of the brothers, if you can read, inshallah ta'ala, with a loud voice. Anybody? Volunteers? Okay. Anybody? One thing I want to ask you guys. Anybody know these? You see the three dots? The three dots on top of fi and on top of ray. See those three dots? Anybody can tell me what that is? Yes, brother.
Does it mean that you can stop at either one of those? You can stop at one but not the other?
Barakallahu feek. Very good. Okay, you have to stop at one of them, but not both. You cannot stop at both. You have to stop at one of them, or you cannot continue on either. You have to stop at either or. Okay? Barakallahu feek. And if you look at it, we're going to go over the meaning. We have ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ. ذَلِكَ, which means that, right? Okay, that. And here actually in the Quran, in the tafsir, the ulama talk about why it's this. It's actually it's translated as this, and it's not. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that. And the reason behind that, the ulama say, the mufassirun, they say, ذَلِكَ basically something that's ba'id, something that's far away. Okay, something that, and what happens basically, if you have something in front of you, it's there, something you already have, you kind of lose interest in that, right? When something you already have it. When something's there, but it's reachable, and it's far away, it's close, it's in range, you can reach it, you kind of have more respect for that. You go after it, right? So that's what the Quran is basically. It's something, there's 3 levels of understanding the Quran. You have the first level, where someone who, first of all, you have 4 levels. You have level 0, where Allah protect us, and inshallah none of us are at that level, that we don't understand the Quran at all. We read the Quran, but we don't know what's going on. We don't understand anything that what the Quran is talking about. And actually, that reminds me of a story. That doesn't mean there's no benefit. There's always benefit. The Quran itself is mubarak. The words of the Quran, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is mubarak. There's benefit. There's always some kind of benefit. And there's a story about this grandfather and his grandson. They were at the beach. And the grandfather, mashallah, tabarakallah, he used to love the Quran. Reading the Quran day in, day out. Reading the Quran, doing khatam after khatam, reading the Quran, but he did not understand the Quran. Now, we have the youth nowadays, they like to ask a lot of questions, they think they know it all. And this youth, this grandson, he says to his grandfather, you don't understand the Quran, why do you read it so much? And the grandfather, he wanted to explain it, the olden days, you explain it with the backhand, right? But no, this grandfather, mashallah, he was respectful, he knew what he's doing. He wanted to explain it in a way so that the child would understand. And he says to him that, go and grab this bucket, and go to the water, go to the ocean, or go to the sea, whatever it was, and go to the lake, grab some water for me, bring back some water. Now the child goes over, there's a bucket laying there in the sand. He picks it up, he wipes it off a little bit, takes it to the water. He fills it up, but there's a hole in the bottom. It's a really old bucket. He brings it, starts running back. He's running back to his grandfather, and the water is coming up. The water is falling off from the bottom. He comes, once he gets to his grandfather, there's no water. The grandfather says to him, go back, go give me some water. He goes back. This time he runs faster than he did last time. Again, the water comes out, there's no water. He tells him again, go again. He goes again, he comes back even faster. And then the 4th or 5th time, and probably didn't even get to the 4th or 5th time, kids nowadays. But he comes back and he's frustrated. He's like, why are you asking me to go and get this water? There's no benefit. I can't even bring it, there's a hole. I can't, stop it. I try to plug it, I try to do whatever. It's getting out. The grandfather says to him, look at the bucket itself now. And he looks inside, he looks around. He says, what do you see? Is there a difference? He says, yeah, it's nice and shiny, it's nice and clean now. He says, yes, it was in the sand, it was stuck and had dirt all over. Now, after repeatedly taking it and washing it through the water, you did not retain the water, but you cleaned it out. And the Quran is in the same way. If we read the Quran, we read the Quran, even without understanding, it still cleans us. It's mubarak. It's something that cleans us and does this tazkiyah, just cleans us out, inshallah ta'ala, cleans our souls and our akhlaq, and inshallah. So that's the 0, level 0, you could say. Level 1 is someone who reads the Quran and he has a basic understanding of Quran, basic understanding of grammar, basic understanding of words, vocab, and sarf, and this kind of stuff. And he starts to understand the Quran, he can put words together, and they can go through the Quran getting a gist of the Quran. Okay, then there's another level where someone studies with the ulama. They listen to tafsir, they read the tafsir of the Quran, they understand the tafsir, they have the little bit, they have the Arabic background. So they're able to, take lessons from the Quran. And then you have another deeper meaning, and that's where the ulama, that they know the language, they know the morphology, they know the nahw, they know the grammar, they know, the adab, they know the different types of the sciences of Arabic language, and they know the eloquence of the Quran, the adab of the